And we're live. Mr. Travis Pavlik back again. I'm feeling amazing. And let's get to... By the way, I do have a much better camera for this. I'm just a little bit too lazy. And I do have a better microphone than this. This whole setup. But, so... we're going to be making some improvements here. I apologize. I have not been... I recorded a whole video and then I didn't upload it because it just, yeah, sometimes it just happens. So I apologize for that. But if you want to, I do update either on Twitter sometimes, or the easiest way is probably on Instagram. And it's Travis Pavlik. Probably link in the description below. Here we go. First of all, I'd like to say, in light of recent events, basically, we can't control what other people are doing in society. We can't live in a perfect world where there's no weapons. You can see in the UK they ban guns and then knife crime goes up. There's all sorts of different ways to hurt people. It's more than just guns. And in fact, I actually believe instead of banning guns, we should have more of them. And that's how I feel safe in public. Anyways, ordered one of these today. CZ P10 compact 9mm, 357 bucks. That's cheap. You can get it delivered to your local gun dealer. So that's an aside. Let's get into the charts. Bitcoin 12,000 on the money. There's also, let's just see what happened here. So we took some profits in here. It went down. I nibbled a little bit at 11.4 region and just replaced what I had sold. And now we're going back up. I sold what I had replaced there, and I still have this is the most important thing. How do you make money trading anything? You have to be relentless, stick with the trend. I might have a separate video about this. But like, let's go back to 2017. How did you make money here in Bitcoin? You stuck with the trend. You know, even this is a similar shape right here of what we're currently going through, this ABC consolidation, and then boom, it broke out to the upside, came back, retested it. They shook a lot of people out here, and then when they shook them out, they doubled. The price doubled. So let me be clear. Long Bitcoin, as long as it stays above 10,000, we're golden. This is a great time to get involved in Bitcoin. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. However, long Bitcoin, and my general philosophy is you want to be long Bitcoin. You want to stick with the trend. What I'm doing and what I'm sharing is a different way of trading, because I'm not only trying to replicate the gains of Bitcoin, but I'm trying to reduce the volatility, the ups and the downs in my overall account value. So over time, Bitcoin's doing this and I'm doing this with my account value. So it's just how I like to trade. I've been trading like this for 14 years. No, not exactly like this. It took me a long time. Shout out to my mentor, DK, Canuck to USA. If you want to follow him on Twitter, you'll see some of the same thing. If you want to subscribe, he now has a service because so many people were just hitting him up. He's like, fine, I'll give you guys a service. You know, it'll be 10K a month or whatever for me, and I'll just reinvest that. So what am I saying here? I'm saying that, one, stick with the trend. So when I say, hey, I'm taking a little bit of profits here, first of all, that's just a trim, right? I'm still very long Bitcoin. The other thing is, when I say I'm trimming from a very leveraged position, meaning like, for example, you put $10,000 in an account and I could be trading 3 to 4 times leverage. So I could have $30,000 to $40,000 worth of Bitcoin at any one time. And I had more than that, in this past run up. So when I trim, it's not a bearish call, it's a trim. I just want to be clear on that, just kind of going forward. The other thing is you must manage risk. So when I'm talking about, hey, buy Bitcoin, I never say buy Bitcoin and just hold on to it forever. That's one technique that can work very well. You got absolutely crushed in 2018 doing that because it went from 20 to 3,200. So again, we're talking about a high level overview of what's going on. By the way, salmon and rice, highly recommend. Feeling amazing. Okay, is that clear? Did I make myself clear? Stick with the trend. The trend is up. When you were talking about the trend, we're talking about weekly and we're talking about monthly bars. Look, this trend is not bearish. This trend is good. But at the same time, it might not go, specifically this time. That's going to be annoying. But basically, we're looking for this big breakout. We're looking for 15, 16,000. And we're going to get there eventually. So the other thing is that my mind is, I'm not just focusing on the next 4-hour tick. I'm focused on, we're going over 20,000. All right. So, and at 12,000, that's almost a double. If you're leveraged, that you're going to make even more than that on your money. And I've done this before. This is not, 2016, 2017. This is just more of the same. Bitcoin is acting technically very similar to how it did before. Of course, anything can happen. We've seen crazy things happen. We know that we're going to have very scary sell-offs in the future, because anything that just jumps up, from 9,100 to 12,300, 20% in 6 days, that's not completely normal. The other thing, anything that jumps from 3K to almost 14K in 5 months, that's not completely normal. But it's a sign of, we're making several points here. The other point I want to make is, when you see these big jumps, it's very uncomfortable. People are trying to comprehend it, and they're not able to because they haven't spent a lifetime, decades studying markets. So when this thing did bottom here, I knew that it was probably going to go lift off and leave everyone behind, because if it just kind of gradually went up, that's not really what happened here. We had complete capitulation, decimation, but we still had great fundamentals overall, and it would be too easy if it just gradually climbed, everybody gets on board, everybody gets a piece of their Bitcoin. It's not the way it works. We have players that are big money. They're trying to put big money to work. They're going to grab all the Bitcoin, the smart people, at the same time. So they're going to start grabbing it here, and they're going to add to it here, and then you're going to be like, oh, it's a fake move. It's a fake move. The whales, they're just faking us out to try not to get us into Bitcoin. It's going to pull back. And when it does, back down to 3,000, back down to 1,000, then I'll put all my money into it. We will just live like kings. That's not the way markets work. If Bitcoin goes back down below, I'm saying like this bar in here, like 7,000, 6,000, this is going to be horrible chart. I will not be buying crazy dips like that at all. This is how you make money. You make money in a trend up. So even though it would have been great to get in at 3,000, 6,000, we participated in some of that. Look on Twitter, February 8th, my bottom call. But that's not about that. It's about P&L. It's about making money. And it's about the right mind frame in order to make money. You don't make money by saying like, oh, I see S&P 500 just quadrupled in the past, X amount of years. I'm going to wait until it goes back down to, 666. Right here, that was a low, 666. And then I'm going to get all in. If we go back down to 666, we're going to have a complete depression, monetary crisis. There's going to be really bad things. So reasonable dips are like in Bitcoin, if it went back down. First of all, this market's already decided which way it's going to go up. It's not like we already had this long consolidation before you can get in. We're probably not going to go back and revisit this area. So if we're not going to go revisit 9 and 10,000, why the hell would we go to 6 and 5? And these fantasies that people have, like, you're not responding to the market, and it's a mistake. That's why I'm calling it out. It's a mistake because you need to embrace $10,000, $11,000 Bitcoin and understand we're probably going to go back and challenge these old all-time highs. As soon as we're above the all-time highs, there's just no stopping it. So that's just how markets work. That's how markets function. So in the meantime, we're bullish Bitcoin. We know that trends and trading with the trends work. Unrelenting trend following. Unrelenting buying dips where you can for me personally, on a leveraged basis where I can make more money than I would just cash. This is like part of it all. There's the nuances, the moving averages, the patterns. There's a lot of other layers that go into it. There's also a reason why I personally am involved in Bitcoin since 2012. That's a whole longer discussion, but there is a fundamental basis for why I trade this asset. Why I think that the returns can be here and the risk, they're limited. Bitcoin can go to zero, right? But if it succeeds, it can go up many, many, many times, 100,000 Bitcoin in the long term. And also, it's been around for 10 years. This is not like a new thing. If you're not understanding, there's no replication of Bitcoin. It's almost impossible to do it today because of the founder being still unknown, Satoshi Nakamoto, right? All I'm saying is that there's a lot of layers to this, and I'm trying to get you in the mindset of a winner, which is someone who's like, hey, the market is smarter than me. The market is what I'm trading. I'm not trading my personal opinions. I'm not trading conspiracy theories and rumors. I'm trading actual price action in the markets. And I'm trying to catch trends up. So, Bitcoin's at 12,000. After all that. The other thing that stood out is, obviously, we've had a big breakout in gold. Gold's fine. A friend of mine hit me up, hey, I'm going to buy some gold. That's great, but gold has done, 1,050 to 15,000. That's great. But during that time, 2016 to current time, let's see what Bitcoin did. What year? 2016. November 2016. All right, so it about 10, let's call it 10x to be conservative. So you made 50% in gold during the same time, and you made 1,000% in this. So these are not the same. Also, if you look at the historical performance of gold, you'll see that on a great year, it'll go up, 20, 30%. On a great year in Bitcoin, we 10x'd. So there's a whole, again, we're not trying to get bogged down into the gold versus Bitcoin debate. What I'm saying is own a little bit of both, but like my personal preference is that I want to trade something that's going to give me the most bang for my buck, the most return. I'll also do a brief update. Avid, I got out of this, and I'm not just saying this, I hope. Maybe I should be more clear, but I don't like trading earnings in these small caps. But here I tried to get some at the 200 SMA. It absolutely got destroyed, so I want to call that out. I did not take part in the downside, but basically they had earnings, and I just want to get that out there because Avid was something I was trading on this big move up, made a lot of money, sold out completely, and now it dropped, and now I'm considering going back in. But as far as stocks, I'm not all that excited. We did have S&P 500 tick this kind of moving average here on the weekly, on the daily. I'm not interested. We could have a series of higher highs. It could reverse here, go back towards all-time highs. It's still not my focus. EOS. We have had a giant correction. The halvening in Bitcoin and Litecoin is happening in EOS, except in a different way, where the price gets taken down by half. This is a long-term play. I like it long-term, but in the meantime, it's not impressive. Litecoin itself, when we had the actual halvening, it kind of had this fake move up, and then it got taken back down. Fake move meaning it didn't close up there, it just wicked up there. So Litecoin, that whole trade it was leading the way, and I was questioning it and I was doubting it, but now we see Bitcoin is acting much better than Litecoin. So the only thing that stood out, and this is a good chart. I still probably prefer Bitcoin, but XMR, I don't think that it's going to lead the way, but there's definitely a use case for it. It's a great project. It's an OG project. It's not some new comer on the block. We have a white paper. Great team. Shout out to Crown's Crypto Cave. By the way, Crown's Crypto Cave is great. He has daily content there, so if you want to get your daily dose of price action, it's a little bit, I would say, more advanced. So that's pretty much it as far as things that I'm excited about. AMD is also kind of interesting. We kind of had this ABC pattern, and I just don't, even my stock accounts, I can trade GBTC, or I can trade the futures. So I'd rather put my capital there. But eventually I'll get excited about a stock again and that whole shenanigans. But it is 3:30 on Wednesday, so my birthday is tomorrow. Shout out me, 8/8 Leo birthdays. I will be around again. Follow me on Instagram. Instagram is Travis Pavlik, and then also Twitter. It's either way is if I haven't uploaded about price action in a while, sometimes it's I'm bored of Bitcoin and I don't want to talk about the current price action. I haven't seen anything exciting, or there's just nothing worth talking about, kind of. But that is all. Going back to my salmon, gonna go work out, and happy birthday to me. Shout out you guys for watching. I will return shortly. Peace out.